Hi everyone, so good to see you all. Welcome to the 19th edition of Kathmandu International Mountain Film Festival. This is our third day and a final slot for today's session. Today's session will be hosted by our executive producer and photographer, Cira Crowell. So I'd like to welcome Cira Crowell on the stage as well, please. Her exhibition is still running on Nepal Tourism Board till the 13th of December. It's the Dream Mountain, right? तपाईहरु सबैजनाले हेर्न जान सक्नुहुन्छ यो 5 दिनको exhibition हो र 13 December सम्म हुन गइरहेको छ. She is also the executive producer of the film Dream Mountain, which featured Pasang Lamu Sherpa. I think she's also somewhere in the audience. Yeah, so I would like to hand over the mic to Cira. Please enjoy.
Namaste everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Thanks so much for coming. My name is Cira Crowell. I'm the founding director of Inlight Works and executive producer of Dream Mountain. I'm also a photographer by profession and passion. Huge thanks to Kathmandu International Film Festival for hosting this masterclass and for opening with Dream Mountain. It's just been a dream come true. I want to begin by expressing gratefulness to Torakichi Akita for his energy and help organizing this event today and for his huge part in the film. And also my heartfelt thanks to Pasang Lamu Sherpa Akita for her precious friendship, determination, and courage. Will both of you please stand up? Yay. Today, I'd like to offer a glimpse behind the scenes of a recent motion stills project that is Dream Mountain. It was filmed on location here in Nepal, in Kathmandu, as well as Solukhumbu in 2019. This talk is geared towards photographers, but I will be offering reflections and insights on actualizing a life of inspiration, no matter what your project or profession is. Welcome to Making the Dream Real. An ongoing obsession among photographers is which direction to take your work. Sometimes the goal seems crystal clear, but the path to get there isn't. In this image, Cholatse looms brightly over Khumbu Valley, filled with fog obscuring the way to the peak. All of the photos in this talk are different perspectives of Cholatse, our dream mountain. How many times do we walk past our dreams, even without thinking about what is possible? Pasang and I trekked past Cholatse a number of times on the way to Everest Base Camp, not knowing it would be a pivotal mountain for each of us, for very different reasons. Cholatse is a technical 6,446 meter peak with mixed climbing on rock and ice. Some of you were able to see Dream Mountain during the opening of kimff. For those of you who haven't, I'd like to pause here and share the trailer and a short video about the project.
When I was 11, 12 years old, I already dreamed about climbing mountain. The mountain teaches you so many things. So after 3 years, I'm going back to climb. Sometimes I was like, oh, I shouldn't go because this is not fair that you have your boy at home and you're going to climb. What I feel is like all women have the right to follow their dreams.
Okay, going up.
These mountains are my home.
There we go, here.
Oh, okay.
That looks so beautiful.
Oh my God, Pasang. So beautiful. Okay.
I have known Pasang for 7 years now, and I've been so amazed by watching her story and her life unfold. She's often interviewed, she has been in films, but she has such a unique, heartfelt voice that has been captured.
Oh yeah, it's good, yeah.
My name is Cira Crowell. I am a photographer, and we are currently in Kumjung, Solakhambu, Nepal. We had spent years on the trail side by side. We had already summited a mountain. We had already at that point hiked together maybe 700 miles. Now we've been over 1,000 miles together on the trail. I had seen work about her life that just did not evoke her, and knowing her as well as I did, it just broke my heart. There was a much deeper message that she had to share with the world.
There's always, for the moment, so many boundaries for us, limitations. The girls, you cannot speak loudly, you cannot walk front. I was born in the mountain, and I always see every morning these beautiful mountains, and I wanted to go there one day. But I was told that this is more like men's job, women shouldn't do that. But somehow I choose the mountain, and it seems like the mountain accepted me,
The same fearlessness that it requires to start a creative project, it's very similar to the same fearlessness required to even consider facing a mountain. The same hope, the same inspiration, the same level of preparation. It is all a form of art. It's the art of climbing as well as the art of filming and the art of storytelling, and it's all happening at once, and it's just such a joy. There's a crossover between arts and adventure and awareness. It's not about conquering a summit, it's about connecting with each other and connecting inward. My favorite part of the production was how beautiful it was to all be together on the mountain.
Oh, almost here.
And to summit. One thing that's really been important to me in seeing this project through is that it wasn't just a response to Pasang's dream. Almost everyone on the project, whether we planned it or not, really responded to something that was their dream or something that was very healing. And to me, that win-win, where it's not just a job, it's not just a project, but it really becomes something much deeper for everyone. Every single person had dreams that were touched by this project. So what do I mean by dreams? The dictionary defines dreams as a series of thoughts, visions, or feelings that happen during sleep. Okay? Or maybe an idea or vision that is created in your imagination, but it's not real. The third definition is the one, something that you have very much wanted to do, be, or have for a long time. In my experience, dreams are that inner yes, that moment your heart leaps for joy before all the reasons to say no set in. Dreams are sparks of the eternal flame of inspiration. Dreams connect us with something greater. So how do we close the distance between our dreams and making them real? And how did my photographic path lead here, to Nepal, to Cholatse, and to Dream Mountain? The philosopher Baudelaire observed, inspiration comes from working. The inspiration for Dream Mountain came from years of photography and years of friendship. The film was a story that needed to be told, a message that needed to be heard, and a hope to inspire viewers everywhere. This is an image of the north face of Cholatse just before dawn. My creative journey started 30 years ago with a passion for black and white film photography. But photography was not encouraged as a career option. So I focused on other areas of life, earning an undergraduate degree and then a master's of fine arts. When digital became more robust, it felt like a dream come true to return to my first passion of black and white photography. These days, there's a lot of pressure to specialize, but I encourage you to keep learning and expand your options by being an all-rounder so you can move easily between projects. Seven years ago, I fulfilled a dream of climbing Mount Rainier in the US. By luck, I met Alpine Ascents guide Pasang Lamu Sherpa Ikita on that climb. We struck up a friendship on the mountain that has crisscrossed the globe and over 1,000 miles on the trail together. This image was from 2 weeks ago on the summit of Lobuche, and that's Cholatse behind us. We've tracked regions beyond roads in service and in joy. This is Pasang and Zangmo on the first remote medical trek Pasang and I went on together in Gorkha in 2013. Pasang's service as a translator was integral to the work and spirit of the trek, and I served as a team photographer. In addition to other projects, I documented the medical care offered by Nomads Clinic in Gorkha and then Dolpa over the course of 4 years. This is a line of patients waiting to be seen in Saldang, Dolpa. Pasang's presence put the young women at ease. She did not just translate the language, she offered compassionate communication between local cultures and the care available from the Nomads Clinic medical team. In this image, she's teaching a young expectant mother in Tinje Dolpa how to open a bottle of prenatal vitamins. After years of meaningful, challenging service, Pasang and I each found ourselves at a crossroads for different reasons. Pasang was dealing with challenges facing elite female professionals, how to balance home and career, and my life was rocked by unexpected difficulty. Though we were from opposite sides of the earth, we continued to be touched by each other's experiences. But Pasang's true story was so relatable and so inspiring. It was not being fully heard in her voice, from her perspective. With the encouragement of a friend, I offered to put together a trial film, and Pasang was game to try. In April 2019, we began the first phase of the project that became Dream Mountain. By taking it one step, one day at a time, everything came together, even when challenges arose. But still, there were huge questions hanging in the air. Did Pasang even want to climb? I was concerned the film might pressure her. And could I shift from documentary photography to managing a documentary film, given all the challenges I was facing at the time? The only thing to do was try and see. You must be willing to give your project the space to happen in its own time. After months of dealing with life on both sides of the globe, Pasang and I reached out to each other. I will never forget her words when she said, "Kerala, come to Nepal, let's climb." But the challenge wasn't the prominence of this sheer technical mountain. The challenge was the pushback and discouragement, the mom shaming and questioning. You shouldn't go. Do you know what you're doing? You aren't going to climb, are you? People asked each of us, despite our previous experiences. So we stopped sharing our dream with people and didn't even know this silencing was happening to both of us. The shadow of limiting messages came from those who meant well, those who did not, and sometimes from within. When you stop talking about your dreams, it's easy to give up hope. This is the moon shadow of Cholatse falling on mountains on the opposite side of the Khumbu Valley. I'm sorry the projector's a little soft here, but you can see the shape of the mountain down below. But Pasang has made a career of never giving up. She's broken barriers in professional mountaineering all her career, literally and metaphorically breaking trail for many other professional female climbers behind her. This image was on the way to Cholatse, passing Nangpai Gosum, where she was the first female to summit on the first ascent of the mountain. Pasang's list of summits also includes Everest, K2, Denali, Aconcagua, and Amadablam, to name a few. Pasang likes to say her greatest mountain has been motherhood, and here she is with 11-month-old Echan Norbu, with the summit pyramid of Everest above. A love for life in the mountains deeply united Pasang and I. We each call high elevations home. We find peace in the vastness and comfort in the cold. We met in the mountains and are inspired to lead lives shaped by mountains, mountain sports, and mountain arts. Spending so much time on the trails together, over years supporting other projects, had built a sense of trust and knowing each other deeply. This image was from 2016. Transparency and communication and commitment to word were critical for every step in the process of making Dream Mountain. For the next phase of filming, Pasang gathered an elite climbing team with 20 Everest summits between them. On the left is Pasang's uncle, Sodar Panuru Sherpa, family friend Tenzing Sherpa in the silver helmet, and in the black cap is Panuru's son, Lakpa Gyaljan Sherpa, with Pasang at Camp 1 on Cholatse. Meanwhile, I reached out in my other hometown of Los Angeles to muster a film team with international experience to capture Pasang's story and climb. The team made it to Cholatse Base Camp in a high valley between Cholatse and the largest glacier in Asia. Even with all the preparation, nothing guarantees a summit. For this project, it was important to have a plan B for safety in case conditions were not right or if Pasang decided not to climb. Knowing her so well, we made much of the film in other locations, like her birthplace and her childhood home. If we had moved to Plan B, the end result would have been different, but not the aim. The point of the entire project was to amplify her story and message in her voice, without overlay or interpretation. And this is the stunning ice fluting on the summit of Cholatse. Local traditions hold that summits are sacred. So a very important aspect of overseeing Dream Mountain was integrating spiritual practices in the mountains with the filming. In this image, prayers are said for two of our team members, alpinists Lakpa Gyalchin and Tenzing Sherpa, as they departed to set up Camp 1. With everything prepared, Pasang still had mixed feelings as she left her 2-year-old safe in the arms of his father at Cholatse Base Camp. It was the first time she and Echan had been apart for more than a few hours, and the first time she stepped foot on a mountain after facing so much pressure to pause her career. The ascent began, breath by breath, step by step. We climbed through an avalanche dusting, ascending the glacier and headwall to Camp 1. In the film, Pasang powers up the headwall, almost making Cholatse look easy. Camp 1 was located on a narrow, flat ridge at 5,300 meters. We filmed interviews gazing at the summit with a mix of nerves and assurance. From Camp 1, the route went up a snowy approach here, across a sheer rock section, up the knife-edge ridges, across a snowfield, and the final ascent to the summit. With a 2 a.m. start, under clear skies and this full moon, the difficulties and voices of doubt fell silent in valleys far below and far away. Occasionally, the footing was stable enough to pull out the camera and photograph moments like the full moon setting at first light on the Himalayas. Mid-climb and mid-project can be the hardest part. Often when you're climbing, you lose sight of the summit. You must hold the goal in your heart. It all comes down to persistence, training, passion, and teamwork. And these are the steep knife-edge ridges of Cholatse, where you climb for hours without sight of the summit. Mid-project is where priorities become critical, so you must stay true to the vision even when the challenges seem huge. And this image is about midpoint of the climb, and our route went under the hanging serac that you can see here on the shoulder of the mountain. Like climbing, photography is very gear specific. You must know your gear until it's second nature, so you can work as efficiently as possible in any moment or condition. Having a team to back you up and handle different technical aspects is key. When each team member contributes to the whole, there's a flow of energy that propels the project forward. All of the work to get to the mountain melted away in the effort of climbing. Then suddenly, we reached the summit. Like nearby Everest, legend is Cholatse is also the realm of a goddess, and I believe it. To climb is to walk in the clouds, dancing in the sky. And this is Pasang on the summit pinnacle of Cholatse, with Everest in the background. These high peaks became smaller with the perspective of extreme altitude. In the clarity of hindsight, what was key to making the dream real? As executive producer, it was my responsibility to insist on safety first, then constantly uphold the ideal of inspiration, the why of the project. Prioritizing equal respect for all team members brought a lot of warmth and happiness to the shoot. There was an atmosphere of conviviality, cooperation, and joy. When your team feels safe and prepared to meet challenges, they can put their energy into co-creating. Another key was doing constant check-ins to make sure Pasang's voice remained our North Star, our guiding light. A key decision was changing to a female video editor to craft the 100 hours of footage into a festival-friendly 18 minutes. She was able to understand the big picture and bring every detail of timing, sound, and motion into alignment with Pasang's story and message. In this image, you can see Cholatse with her glaciers and Everest in the background, the big picture. In the spirit of the urgent theme of this year's kimff festival, Climate Karma, our base camp at Cholatse was powered and illuminated by solar energy. In mountaineering, there's a lot of language about conquering mountains, but our aim was to connect through mountains. Pasang and the team and I chose to climb Cholatse because mountains are here in our hearts. It was sheer bliss to climb upward as far as land reaches into sky, undaunted, in awe, connecting with the force of nature stronger than any tiny human muscle or mere willpower. At the summit, there's a transcendent, peaceful beauty that puts all life and the whole journey into perspective. High-altitude pilots and astronauts call it the overview effect. The Tibetan word for it is ati, meaning summit or utmost view. All mountains are special because they reconnect humanity with the immensity of nature. And all mountains, not just Cholatse, can be metaphors for our dreams. Which path will you take? Circling back, philosopher Baudelaire observed, inspiration comes from working. So, we've come to our workshop part. Let's take a few minutes to dream together. We'll be handing out pieces of paper and a pen, and we're going to make a list. So I'll just give a moment for the paper to reach all of you. Okay, does everybody have paper and a pen? We good? All right, okay. So let me reassure you, this is just for you. You won't be handing it in. You won't be asked to share it. It's just for you, and that's the important part. So, I want to ask you a really important question, and I'm going to give you a minute to think about it, and then answer it by writing it down. I want to ask you to write down your one wildest dream. Maybe it's such a wild dream that you don't even tell anyone, and maybe you're scared to even admit it to yourself. So all you have to do is just put it down privately on this piece of paper. It's just for you. So write down at the top of the paper your one wildest dream. Even if it seems crazy or impossible, don't think too hard on it. Don't talk yourself out of it. Just write it down. No one will know but the paper. Okay, I see pens have stopped moving. Has everybody got their one wild dream? You all good? Okay, all right. We've got one wild dream. Okay, so the next step is to write down something related to that one wild dream. Maybe one that's a little easier. A dream that's a part of your wild dream that's a first easy step. Something, you might even be already doing it now, but something that's really easy and doable. see a few pens still moving, so we'll just give you one more minute. Okay, so everybody has their kind of easy dream, all right? And this is the last step, and then we'll take it a little further. The third item on your list is something in the middle. So you have your wild dream, crazy, not sure how that's gonna work out. And then you have the easy one, it's number 2. And you might already be doing that. And then number 3 on your list is something in the middle. So a project in the middle that might be a step between the easy project and the crazy wild dream. It's great to see all these pens moving, all these great thoughts flowing. Okay, so without judging whether these three things are possible or not, I want you, next to each dream, write down who those projects could help. So who could each of your dreams benefit? Somebody beyond you, something beyond you. Hopefully something that touches you deeply, a need that you see in the world, something that you know a lot about that you might be able to share with other people. We'll give it another minute. I still see a few pens moving, which is great. Okay. All right, everybody got it? You've got your list of 3, and then next to the list of 3, who each project could help, and it may be the same. So what we just did was brainstorm together about your dream, and we did it in steps, the thing that's just so crazy out there that you may never start, and then also the thing that is very doable that you might be doing. And so in this way, you can connect these ideas with ways to help others and bring meaning to your project. If you have meaning in your project, you have purpose, and that purpose can help drive you and inspire you when some days you wake up and you think, I don't really feel like that today. And then you think, no, but this project is to help this purpose, this mission. So I would like for you to read over your piece of paper and then fold it up and put it in a special place, not in a pocket that you will wash in the laundry. Put it in a special place and save it for later. But just take a minute while we're here all together and just read over it. It's really important to put it into your mind. Okay, so when you get home later on your own time, I want to ask you to take the piece of paper out and ask yourself, what's the next step you could make on the easy project? And then ask yourself, what's the next step after that? Keep it simple. And basically, what you're doing is making a list of things to do that you can work on now and integrate it into your to-do list so the path to your dream project becomes part of your daily work. And this is how you connect your wild dreams with what you're doing now and with meaning and purpose each step of the way. It sounds almost too simple to work, but I promise you that it does. The art of making dreams real happens step by step. In the Sherpa language, the word karma translates to both right action and stars. And I'm sorry the stars in this photo don't quite show up so much, but they're there. May all your actions be guided by your North Star. Your North Star is your dream. Pasang and I happened to trek past Cholatse 2 weeks ago. From that perspective, we were amazed to see the summit pinnacle was shaped by the wind and the elements like a stupa. It was so beautiful to see. It's been the greatest joy to foster this project, serving as executive producer and co-expedition photographer. I believe photography can be life-changing for our subjects, our viewers, and ourselves. As photographers, we take the raw stuff of life, frame it in our viewfinders, and transform it into evocative, hopefully artful insights. Photography is a path to making dreams real, one shutter click at a time. Filmmaking is a path to sharing dreams, one clip at a time. One inspiration, one story, one step at a time. So, where is your photography leading you? Are you just dreaming, or are you making your dreams real? Dream Mountain has been an experience beyond our wildest dreams. It won Best Mountain Film at the London Mountain Film Festival and has since been seen in 7 International Mountain Film Alliance festivals: Nepal, Italy, France, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Poland. And we are thrilled to announce that it was selected for the esteemed Banff Mountain Film World Tour. So our dream has come true. The Pasang's message will be shared in 40 countries over the next 3 years, and it just makes me cry every time I think about it. I'm so happy. So deep thanks to our Kathmandu, trekking, climbing, Yak team, and LA production teams who carried the film over the finish line through all the lockdowns and challenges and onto the world stage. And I also really want to thank Keith Carlson, the Director of Integrated Production for Inlight Works, who has been there every step of the way from the expedition prep to film festival coordination. And this is our base camp, packed up and heading home. Since climbing Cholatse, Pasang has continued to make her dream real with inspiring summits of Annapurna, Dhaulagiri, and Lhotse. And there's one more thing. In the spirit of Dream Mountain and Inlight Works, please share the gift of encouragement with others around you. Our world has become so full of competition and limiting voices that people don't even realize the ways they bring others down. Be encouraging to people you know, and also encouraging to people who you're just meeting and just hearing their stories for the first time. So, keep learning, keep working, keep creating, keep climbing, keep going, keep dreaming, everyone. Very dhanyabad, tuche tuche, and thank you. So I think we have maybe about 10 minutes for questions. Great. Let's see, how should we, do we have a microphone? Oh, perfect, that's great.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
All right, so anyone have any questions? Don't be shy. I encourage you. Please ask. Yes, here in the middle. If
Can I share the dream which you have?
Well, sure. It would be great to have questions about photography and filmmaking for everyone here, since it's really a class for everyone. But if you'd like to go ahead and share, go ahead.
Then I think I'll stick to what you said now.
The question for everyone. Okay.
So, namaste. My name is Vikas Ramnair. Actually, there's a lot of similarities between you and me because I
Always,
worked as
yes.
a photographer. I'm a photojournalist. I worked for Kantipur and Kathmandu for almost 23 years. And interestingly, I produced a film. I was executive producer of the film Mega, which was directed by my wife, Samdana.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share this.
Congratulations.
But my question is, when you were working as an executive producer for this documentary, how difficult it was to balance that while taking photographs also? It must be very challenging.
It is very challenging. And fortunately, our team was very committed and very cooperative. And so that's really when the training kicks in. It has to be second nature. And that's where, personally speaking, having spent over 1,000 miles on the trails and years working, documenting from morning till night, as I'm sure you've also done, it has to be second nature. So that in one moment you are answering a team member's question about, how to direct a scene, and then also your camera's at your side, and while they're doing their work, you turn and you do your work. It's a little bit of right and left hand at the same time, right and left brain at the same time. And so really it comes down to having everything be second nature, so that you're not taking any time to consider your settings or consider the gear or kind of messing with it. And you can be as efficient as possible and as present as possible with your team. The other part of that is really thinking ahead. So you really have to kind of be thinking ahead on absolutely everything. Yeah. That's a great question. Thank you for asking. Yeah. And congratulations on your documentary also. All right, anyone else? I think we still have 5 minutes. Yes, Ramyata. Please, I'd love to hear.
I heard that you've been coming back to Nepal to get this one not perfect shot, but to get a shot of the full moon over Everest or against Everest, and this time it's your 4th try.
I think it was the 5th time this time.
I think of it. So what pushes you? Why do you want that shot?
Well, it's for a larger project. I actually have kind of a moon project going on, so in connection with Nepal. I know it's not the most original shot. There are many, and there's some fabulous photographers here who've gotten that shot. It's just a matter of kind of adding it to a personal, larger collection, and that really also fits in with some of the other peripheral projects around Dream Mountain. So I also encourage everyone to work on multiple projects at the same time. And that's where, you know, when we were making our list, we didn't just make one wild dream. It's helpful to have multiple projects going on, even if they seem peripheral or strange or like oddly connected. It's amazing how those projects keep you working, and that's what keeps you inspired, and you will see things. So to answer your question specifically, if I hadn't had the drive to make that photo, we wouldn't have known some of the locations to photograph or to film for Dream Mountain. And it also was a part of the acclimatization process. So if we hadn't acclimatized to that elevation, you know, multiple times before the climb would have been more difficult and it would have been harder to work. So all of those pieces fit together. And also the sense of humor that the weather keeps being so bad when I go and get that shot, and saying, well, you know what, I'll do it next time. I look forward to coming back. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, no, because I've been to base camp, I've stayed there for 6 weeks and, you know, filming a documentary, and I know how difficult it is. You know, I mean, just that drive, just to keep going back and going through that. I mean,
it's difficult, and it's also not that great of a shot, to be honest. It's, you know, it's not one of those shots where you can get far enough away that the moon is dramatically huge. So it's, you know, in reality, it's very simple, but it is sometimes when you're working on projects, all of the pieces of the puzzle fit together in ways that you can't even imagine. And the one piece you're looking for may be over here on the side of the table, as you know, when you're making a puzzle. And so, you know, it's okay to have these kind of strange things on your shot list that just keep you going. So for some reason that's become, you know, kind of a sense of humor. I hate to call it a joke, but it's a fun backstory. But one that might frustrate a lot of people. They might have just given up. But anyway, yeah. There's a lot to be learned from different parts of that.
My name is Vishnu Karpit. I'm also a photographer because I started my career from a black and white photographer.
Yes.
I have one question for you.
Yes.
I heard that you also started your career from a black and white photography.
Film, yes.
Right? Are you happy with this digital photography nowadays? And the other question is, I heard that you are using the Leica camera, Leica lenses. I want to know that why you choose those lenses.
Okay, sure. Those are great questions, and if you don't mind, I'll end with answering these questions. Black and white photography was a very early passion. My grandfather was a photographer. I did not know him, but I felt, and I was actually kind of shamed a little bit, you know, in that girls shouldn't, you know, you shouldn't touch those lenses. That's not for girls, which probably had the opposite effect of kind of driving me onward and making me more curious about the cameras and lenses sitting around. But you know, there was a time period when black and white photography was very out of fashion, and then when digital came in, it was all about color. And I've been very grateful to digital for making it possible to do so much work, because there is no human way we could do the thousands or hundreds of thousands of images that we make telling our stories these days in digital. I also think that learning from film and learning to see in black and white, which is a whole different theory of you know, kind of color theory and optics and the biology of our vision, and I actually teach on that. It's a great passion of mine to understand why black and white is so different and also so similar. So anyway, I think it's a balance. I think that I'm really grateful to have learned, to have been in the days of watching the photo emerge in the bath, you know, in the chemical darkroom all alone. It's a magical process if you've ever had a chance to see it. But also I feel very grateful to be able to work today when we can process so many images, because I don't think there's a way to do that much work in the analog methods. And then also to answer your other question about Leica, So my original film camera was my grandfather's old camera. It was just the dusty camera on the shelf that was given to me when I first started photography. It was the Leica Flex SL2. And I was absolutely blown away when 6 years ago, Leica came out with the Leica SL. So it was the digital version of the exact film camera from the 60s that I had used. So it felt so familiar, it felt so good. And it was also great to have those autofocus motors helping out in a pinch, especially at elevation when you're breathing hard and you've got gloves on and everything. But the bridge between the two was being able to use adapters on the old lenses. And so I spent as much time as possible using the old lenses, and some of them were my grandfather's lenses, and I feel like I am continuing. In a way, it's like a second life for him, like maybe the travel life he would have wanted if he could have been alive to do it. And so it's very touching. I know a lot of us probably have, family things that are the spark of our inspiration. And so, think back about how you can bring that into your modern work today. Leica cameras, they're not always the easiest. They're definitely not always the heaviest, but it is a pretty rare and remarkable technology in that you can use 40-year-old or older. Some of the lenses are, that you can use go back to the 30s on the digital cameras for a very unique character, which really lends a lot to the projects. So, wow, it's been so wonderful, and I'd be happy to take a few questions after if anyone was shy. So I probably have to end it, but find me afterwards. Or do we have time for one more? Okay. Uh-oh, we have two. Okay, so these two, and then we'll wrap for everyone's schedules. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Hello,
Hi,
ma'am.
namaste.
Namaste, I'm David.
Hi, David.
Ma'am, I think I'm not that much perfect, how I think, but I'm still beginner in this journey. So I'm so excited. I'm lucky to take this master's class from you. And I have a question for you.
Yes.
During mountain film, there is lots of obstacles. I know you have to already face that. So how can you can deal with the just worst situation at the climate situation during that photography, and you just really want to take that moment which is make you touch your soul. So how are you gonna take in your camera?
So the first thing I'd like to say is that we're all beginners all the time, truly. We are all learning, and so no matter what you're doing, if you feel like a beginner, know that you are not alone, and that even 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you will still feel like a beginner, and that's a great thing. So there will be new technologies, there will be whole new things that we haven't even envisioned. So go ahead and just make yourself a lifelong learner right now. There's no way to master everything all the time. So to answer your second question, I believe it was kind of how in that moment of working, if I saw something, would I make the choice between making the photograph and the working, or did I answer that, or is that the gist of your question, or?
Oh yes, same question. And
so that
yes, ma'am. It's about the climate mountain during.
About the climbing?
Yeah.
You struggle during the climate struggle.
Oh, did I struggle?
Yeah, you struggle.
Okay, so that's a great question, and that goes back to one of my responsibilities as executive producer, and that was to focus on safety for everyone, which meant being healthy myself and being incredibly physically fit. So I happen to live at an elevation that's the same as Lukla, which makes all of Khumbu pretty comfortable. I mean, I haven't been above 21,000 feet, so, but Cholatse was very comfortable. And I spend months training. I actually run with a weighted backpack. I trail run with a weighted backpack at elevation. So in addition to running the film and organizing the film, I would just, in those moments, just take off and go for a trail run and my responsibility was to be 100% healthy for my team. And I do see a lot of filmmaking professionals who cut that out of their preparation. They spend more time preparing the gear or getting shot lists together, and you cannot cut your health out of anything. You have got to be as strong so that you can lift what you need to lift and be completely present and be 100% there to make the decisions. I had life and death decisions to make for my team, and I relied on our Sardar and also on Pasang to help with those decisions. But ultimately it came down to my own clarity and physical health. And so I hope that helps answer the question. So I was totally physically strong enough to make the shots, even when we went up. But there was a high altitude cinematographer who also was on the Everest movie. So we had a team that was extremely fit and ready to go. And the people that weren't stayed at base camp. Thank you for asking. That was a great question. And there was one more.
Thanks so much for your screening.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. So my question would be, I had this phrase, the greatest mountain is the motherhood. So I would like to ask, what is the similarity in your terms about motherhood and Mother Nature? Would love to listen to your perspective on that.
Oh, that's such a great question, because the whole film really revolves around, the choices that Pasang had to make between being a mother at home and then going out to these mountains, which really have this phenomenal feminine energy and strength. I mean, you can feel it up there. They are temples in the sky. It's so touching. Being up at the summit really felt like a whole initiation of this phenomenal feminine natural energy, and I don't even think we have words for it. We definitely don't in English. There may be words for it in Tibetan and hopefully in Nepali, but English is lacking. So I think to answer your question and also circle it back to kimff and the climate karma, number one, it would be the water. The water that's up there in the form of the glaciers, that feed water to all of life, from which they flow. And I think it's very interesting because there is something about Western culture that does not understand the high mountains here and the incredible connection with Mother Earth. I think because they haven't seen them. I think when mountains are so accessible that you can just go tromping through them anytime, they lack that precious sacredness. But when you see the mountains here in the Himalayas and how high and inaccessible they were for millennia, for centuries, then I think you come to have this awe of being able to walk in them, and that we should walk in them very carefully and very thoughtfully. Still to this day, I don't actually walk on the summits. I did not make the summit pinnacle. Pasang did. I did not touch the summit pinnacle of Lobuche. I just have this awe after being up there, and I wish there was a better way to explain it except to say that I think that it's really up to you all to express the beauty of that nature. I don't think we have words for it in English. I hope that helps. And I hope you do it. I hope that's a part of somebody's dream. So keep dreaming, everyone. Thank you.